Alright, this new electoral map is absolutely shocking because the latest poll now shows Kamala Harris being only 5 points behind in Alaska and a measly 4 points behind in Iowa. Just a glance at our recent past, Biden was down 23 points in Alaska and he was down 18 points in Iowa. Especially when the same pollster who had put Biden at minus 18 in Iowa is now putting Harris at minus 4. The Alaska pollster, who was only decimal points off in the 2020 polling versus actual. And the Iowa pollster has a 2.9 out of 3-star rating on 538. What it all means is that given just 49 more days to the election night, both Alaska and Iowa are in play for Kamala Harris. Now let's take a deep dive into our new electoral map given the facts. We'll first take a look at what happens if Harris takes Alaska, then what happens if she takes Iowa, and lastly, in a completely unexpected blue upheaval, what happens if Kamala Harris takes both Alaska and Iowa. Okay, first off, many of us would think that the 3 electoral votes added to Kamala's plate from Alaska wouldn't really do much to affect any candidate's pathway to victory. And I was long under that assumption as well. I thought Alaska's allegiance is merely an indicator of a blue wave nationwide, which is not a bad thing, but I thought the outcome of the state itself wouldn't really change anything about the race numerically, but damn, I was wrong. Remember the video I did about how many ways can a candidate win the election by winning just 3 states? You can find it in my 2024 presidential election playlist if you're curious. But basically, Kamala Harris has 10 ways to win the election by winning only 3 states, but Donald Trump only has 1 way to do so. And that one path is Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. That will put Donald Trump right on the dot of 270. Now, do you see the problem when Alaska is in play? If Trump loses Alaska, this old pathway no longer works. Given the fact that Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia already hold the largest EV of any states out of the 7 swing states, Trump has no possible alternatives but to win another state just to compensate for losing Alaska. This means while Kamala Harris still has 10 combinations of winning 3 states that will get her to the White House, Trump has absolutely 0 pathways to victory no matter which 3 states he takes. Losing Alaska forces Donald Trump to win at bare minimum 4 out of the 7 swing states to even have a shot at the presidency. And not just any 4 states, there are some 4-state combinations that wouldn't have been winning in the first place. For example, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina would not be winning for Trump anyway. But more importantly, pathways like Wisconsin, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, which would have been a valid winning combination for Trump, is no longer winning if Harris takes Alaska. There's also the rather unlikely situation where a tie happens when Trump takes the blue wall in Nevada, whilst Harris took the rest of the Sun Belt. But if it were to happen, the Supreme Court would almost definitely rule the election in Trump's favor and win him the presidency. But now that Harris takes Alaska, it is no longer a tie, which is a win for Trump, but now a win for Kamala Harris. Look, listen, this is the severity of the situation. Kamala Harris literally could serve the entire blue wall right into Trump's mouth, then serve him Nevada as an after-meal dessert, and she will still win the election if she takes Alaska. To sum up the groundbreaking consequences if Trump forfeits this seemingly minute 3 EV state, he will first have completely no chance of winning the elections by just winning 3 states. It will have reduced many existing pathways where a 4-state electoral victory was possible, and it has entirely eliminated the previous possibility where electoral tie could have won Trump the presidency. Now, of course, all these are just analysis. The trend is not expected to grow linearly, and there's certainly not a replacement for actual votes in the ballot box. In fact, personally, I would say Alaska is pretty much in Trump's pocket as of recording. But what Harris can do is to start campaigning in Alaska, and now Trump has to contend in spending time and money to counter-campaign. Because for a state like Alaska, you don't have to campaign 2-3 cities and some suburbs. All she has to do is to go to Anchorage, get a couple percent points up in young voters and women voter turnouts, cast some doubt into the on-the-fence Trump voters, get them to not want to come vote for Trump, and all of a sudden, the entire state becomes a toss-up. Considering the Harris campaign is basically overflowing with cash on hand right now, and campaigning in Alaska is one of the cheapest, most cost-effective ways to force the Trump campaign to divert even more resources where they are already so strapped on cash, this could end up being the one liver punch knockout blow right through Trump's electoral maneuvers. And as you take a look at what happens when Kamala Harris takes Iowa instead of Alaska, it's only gotten worse for Trump now. Because Iowa is 6 electoral votes, it's basically the same as taking 2 Alaskas, and it's actually equivalent to winning Nevada, which in all honesty, I don't see her losing anyway. In fact, if you give her Iowa and Nevada, look what happens when she takes Georgia and North Carolina. Boom, boom. That's 270. Remember what I said about Harris giving away all the Rust Belt states plus Nevada, and she would still win the election if she had taken Alaska? Well, now it's even worse. Heck, if Kamala Harris took both Alaska and Iowa, all she needs to do now is to win Pennsylvania and either one of North Carolina or Georgia. Meaning, if she gets both Alaska and Iowa, she actually has the possibility to win the entire election by winning just 2 states. And she has 2 pathways to do so. This would be pure madness that we haven't seen for literally decades and would possibly not see in decades to come. Once again, I myself do not believe that either Alaska or Iowa will go to Harris. Heck, I would rather believe Florida goes to Harris than either of the two. But once again, going back to what I said at the beginning, Alaska trending blue is at bare minimum an indicator of the whole country rapidly trending blue. Even if none of the lean Republican states like Texas, Florida, Alaska, Iowa eventually goes to the Democrats, the fact that they all march in unison towards the blue horizon, shoulder to shoulder, is a grave sign of the end times for the Trump administration if they have no recourse to stop Harris's massive blue tsunami from washing over the 7 swing states, very possibly sweeping all of them, giving her an electoral landslide of 319 electoral votes, outperforming even Biden's performance of 303 in 2020. At the end of the day, we are all excited about the polls, but remember what happened in 2016. The only way to end the MAGA lunacy is to hit the ballot box like your life depends on it. And mind you, for many women, it actually does if you allow Project 2025 to work in tandem with a wannabe emperor for life who has refused and will continue to refuse the peaceful transfer of power. I really don't want you to miss out on any election juice when it's still boiling hot. I'll be dropping more videos of new electoral maps every day, if not bi-daily. So don't restrain yourself. Go ahead and hit the subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And remember, vote no matter what stands in your way. And may God bless America.